Pete, GCI Turf. Hope you're doing good. And boy, it's hot and muggy here. North Carolina, boy, it is right. Of course, we're not like you boys in Florida and down that way, but man, we're kind of sticky. Lots of rain, brown patch going crazy, but we're not even going to talk about that today. I got something pretty special I want to show you. Okay, this is when I married my wonderful wife 15 years ago. We had what was called a starter home right here. Now I'm not going to show a lot of this house or anything because the lady that lives here, I want to respect her privacy, and I'm going to actually call her and make sure it's okay that I stick this on there on the YouTube, because we want to be respectful. I wouldn't even consider doing that. So if you're watching this video, that means I've spoken with this lady and she says, sure, Pete, go right ahead. So this is my first landscape job. 14 and a half years ago. We were married 6 months. Excuse me, that's incorrect. We were married a month, and I got fired from my public job for doing something I did not do, and that's water under the bridge. I got fired. I loved yard work. I had that passionate drive. I wanted green grass. I didn't want weeds in it. I didn't want nothing in it but the grass. That's all. I had a passion, the same passion I have now. So I took my unemployment and went back to school. Okay, I went to a little 2-year junior college, a technical college over here in Greensboro. And I went for about 1.5 years-ish or so, and I had started a business, my lawn care company, or at the time it was a mow blow, do whatever the heck I could do in the yard to make $1 company. And I went back to school to kind of learn a little bit more about it. And I had this great professor, really cool, nerdy dude, and taught me a lot of basic stuff. Of course, I really don't use any of that now, other than the plant biology and plant anatomy type stuff I learned in school. Didn't graduate. Okay, I didn't graduate because I had started my mowing business, and it was taking off. You know, it was at a good time 15 years ago where a lot of folks didn't do it, and I jumped in at the right time and started getting a bunch of mowing jobs. And when the spring come around, I didn't have time to go to the school. So I never got the degree. I think I missed one class, like the small engine class or something. I don't care nothing about going back and getting that. I'm fine without it. But during that little time frame, we bought this house. Well, my wife bought this house. We got married. And I moved in with her. The yard was hideous. Crap. One number, Bermuda. I did not have a clue what I was doing other than what this gentleman taught me, this little bit he taught me in this technical college. And so I went on a mission. I kind of got my brain to thinking and stuff, and said, well, let's do some things in this yard. And ended up wiping the slate clean. Whoop, starting over. So everything I show you in this yard right here, this was my first renovation job. I smoked the yard off and started over from scratch. It's kind of funny because this is a small yard, and I went down to the farm and got a really big tractor and brought it up here and was out in this little tiny yard with this humongous tractor, humongous tractor out here with a box blade slicking this yard down. And it's still, I just got done spraying it. We spray this yard for this lady now, and I just walked over. It's still butter smooth, so that's good. 15 years it hadn't lost that good smooth mow. So anyway, let me turn the camera around and show you a few things. Oh, yeah. I stuck that in the ground, stuck them Stella d'Oro, them hollies. That's my flag pole. That ain't my flag. This right here. Now these timbers, I didn't do any of this. That was done afterwards. But here's the turf. Now it's got some Bermudas then come back up in here. She don't treat for that. This bed right here. Here's the well over here. Look at that, them Stella d'Oro, man. I planted them things a long time ago. I created this entire bed right here. The well was enclosed by grass. That kills me right there. I planted this crepe myrtle and look at it, boy. They have done a number on it. Whacking that thing back, crepe myrtle. Butchering the crepe myrtles. These two big maples are already here. They have grown significantly. That's pretty cool. Good stand of turf up under here in the shade. All this right here in the front, I planted a long time ago. That's my liripe. I used to have a little annual flower bed I put in right here, kind of like you see at my house now. Loropetalum, the Nandina, all at the rhododendron. That rhododendron, I give that to my wife for our first year wedding anniversary. And we lived in this house about 5 years or so, maybe longer than that, maybe 8 years. I can't remember. It's a while. But I wanted to dig that rhododendron up, but we moved to an apartment for a few years to save money to buy the house that we're in now. So I could not buy, I couldn't take the plant with me. This row, this hedges, the Loropetalum and all right here. Osmanthus, I think is what that's called. Camellia. I put this hedge right here to separate my property from that guy's yard over there. That way the stuff with the weeds and stuff, Bermuda wouldn't creep in. Here's the backyard, this whole row of crepe. Now these crepe myrtles are absolutely gorgeous. They just need to be pruned correctly. And my gosh, they would look some kind of good. They're in groups of threes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Gray owl juniper. There's the same liripe I got at my house that everybody asked me about. Monkey grass liripe. It's variegated, come down from my mom's house. Super good border plant right there. All this, she's got some bunch of grassy stuff coming up in here. Brown patch. She does not get fungicide treatment, so that's why they're here. I put this patio in. This was, excuse me, this was my first patio. There's my Japanese maple I stuck in here. Sky pencil hollies, I put them there. Camellia, I put that there. It's pretty cool. It kind of brings back memories, you know. You get to thinking about this stuff. I remember being down on my hands and knees, smoking hot, laying that patio. These are two big old Zelkova trees. Woo boy. Now when I planted them, they weren't but about 15 foot high. And look at this. Good day in the morning. That's what I'm talking about. And I planted them there to create shade for when you're sitting right here on this patio chilling out with your wife or your husband. This is pretty cool. This is my first shop. Okay. This is kind of more my very first shop was a truck and trailer sitting in the driveway with a tarp on it. That was my first shop. This would be my second shop. I got one of those little carport things, and I used to have shelving and all. And when I started spraying a long time ago, I actually had a little mixing system right here that I would back in here and I could fill up. At the end of the day, I'd drag a hose pipe out here to this corner and fill up my water tank right there. Let's go around this way, it'll be better. And then I'd be ready for the next morning. Hours and hours and hours spinning that little shed right there. I think that building was here when we bought this house. I planted these little wax leaf privet right here. This used to be a gated area. This whole section was fenced off and gated. There was a fence that run along right here with a gate on it. And this was where I kept my Doberman, Onyx, and Titus. I had a big old black Warlock, and then a German red Dobie. I love Dobermans. I've had about 5 of them. And that's where I used to keep them back there. But hey, it's cool, man. I ain't been here in a while. Turf still, look at that turf, man. Still a good stand of turf, real good stand of turf. It's been here 15 years. This is the first place that I actually started experimenting with different turf varieties long time ago. And I would buy these varieties by themselves, individually. And over in the corner, back over in there, I had a spot that I would sow those little varieties all by themselves. Actually, this pine needle bed, you can see it go down through here, and it butts up against that fence down there, but it used to not do that. It used to be grass to the right of that building, and that's where I would have those little test plots, and I would test them and see which one would handle the heat better. And of course, it wasn't nothing crazy scientific about it because I'm not a scientist. You know, I'm just a normal dude trying to figure out something that works. And that helped me get going in the right direction in choosing the grass seed, the varieties that I put in my custom mix right now that does so well in the heat, the tall fescue. So hey, hope you enjoyed this. I had fun right here, man. This is cool coming back to your very first house and showing kind of where you get started at in life. You know, you get married. We had our first 2 kids in this house, and that was special when I got to come in the driveway and that was special when I got to come in the driveway and take my son and show him his new house. You know, that was a big deal for me because I'm sorry. Excuse me. That was a big deal for me because my life ain't always been what it ought to be, okay? I was a very, very different person before I found Christ. Incredibly different. And so when I found that, and I found that grace, and I understood, hey, God forgives me for what I do. It don't matter. Where sin abounds, grace abounds more, right? It doesn't say it's equal. It says it abounds more. So that means I can't sin enough to where God won't forgive me for it. And when I finally accepted Christ and I understood that, okay, I grasped that concept that, hey, I can't out-sin God's grace. And it revolutionized my life. Okay, it changed my life when I understood that, hey, God loves me no matter what I did, no matter what my past was. And when I took my son in that room, in that house for the first time, it was quite overwhelming. And I'm sorry, but whew, this is tough. I'm sorry. You know, a lot of people have asked me to share my testimony. Of course, I'm sure some of you watching, you could give a rat's tail about Jesus, but that's up to you. But a lot of people have asked, and this coming weekend, I have got a opportunity to speak, and I'm gonna film it, I'm gonna record it, and I'm gonna show it to you. And the reason I want to show it to you is because, of course, we're commanded to go out into all the world and preach the gospel. There's no doubt in my mind that there is a person, a man, a woman, a child that is watching these videos trying to learn about grass, and here you got this guy talking about Jesus. I know there's somebody out there that was like me. There's no doubt. People have an evil tendency. Okay, I was incredibly evil, and to go from that lifestyle to where I am at now in my faith and in life, and how God has blessed me just beyond anything you can imagine. That needs to be shared. People need to hear about it. So I'm not scared, okay? God did bless me with the gift of mouth, okay? I don't mind speaking in front of people. I don't mind telling you what I think. I don't mind any of that. God gave me a very bold personality, and I'm thankful for that because I can use it for His honor and His glory. And so we're going down to this camp type thing Friday night, and I'm going to share with you my testimony. And because I want you to know what God did for me. I want you to know how He broke the chains in my life. So I'm going to share that with you. And man, I can't even look at the front door. Dang. Sorry, I can't even look at the front door without getting choked up. Because that was such a special day for me to take my son. Good God, why is it so hard? Sorry. It's overwhelming to look at that front door. It just is. And after you hear my testimony, you're going to know why. Hopefully you watch this video before you watch that. I'm going to link them together so you'll know. But when I had my son, I got to hold him. Things clicked. Okay, they really clicked for me. And I'm going to, we'll leave it at that. When you see the testimony, you'll understand why this chokes me up so bad, okay? I typically don't cry because I'm a big boy. I can handle it, right? But when God puts that compassion in your heart, I didn't have compassion before. I assure you, I had no compassion. But when God puts that in you, that changes who you are as a person. And so sometimes when things happen, like right now, I'm looking at a front door and I can't even look at it. Okay. So we'll talk about that when we do the testimony. You'll know what I'm talking about. Man, I hope you liked this. I really had fun looking at this my old house right here, and I honestly didn't mean to get off and go. There's a trash can behind me. I honestly didn't really mean to get loopy on you right here, but it's pretty real for me. Okay, we're not talking about Sky Daddy. Okay. I had a gentleman comment on some post. I said something about Jesus or God or something. He said, "Yeah, blah blah blah, Sky Daddy." I thought that's pretty funny because I've never heard the Creator of the universe referred to as a Sky Daddy. So that was pretty funny. But anyway, I'll check you later. Have a good day.